Hello and welcome to my presentation on supply chain management on the Gibson guitar of Gibson Brands, Inc., formerly Gibson Guitar Corporation. My name is Valerie J. Smith. I am a graduate student in the MBE 580 Competitive Supply Chain Systems at Virginia Wesleyan University under the tutelage of Dr. Paul Uwa. It is October 2019. Sit back and enjoy the strumming sounds of the guitar as I narrate this presentation through the evolution of the Gibson guitar. American made, but enjoyed globally by generations, genres, and genders alike. The guitar is one of the most famous instruments worldwide. It has been used for almost all types of music and has made many cultural impacts on society. There have been drastic changes in the Gibson guitar history. They have changed their look, sound, and overall style. Let's take a stroll down memory lane to where Gibson guitar began. Orville Gibson began in 1894 in his home workshop in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and patented his idea for mandolin guitars in 1898. With no formal training, Gibson created an entirely new style of mandolin guitar that followed the violin design. The two sides were carved out of a single block of wood, rather than being made of bent wood strips. More importantly, they were louder and more durable than contemporary fretted instruments, and musicians soon demanded more than he was able to build in his one-man shop. On the strength of Gibson's ideas, 5 Kalamazoo businessmen formed the Gibson Mandolin Guitar Manufacturing Company, Ltd. in 1902. Gibson manufacturing standards were very high, and his instruments heavily marketed. He and his company used music teachers to market the instruments, and strong print advertisements which were very successful. It has been over 400 years when the guitar was invented. Since then, the guitar has been a great innovative instrument. It serves as the heart of a song or sound, from jazz and blues to heavy metal and to punk rock. Guitar has been perhaps the most significant factor in modern music. Between the Gibson acoustic guitar and the Gibson electric guitar, there's a lot of the supply chain history. Let's explore that history now by learning what inner workings of the guitar are. Interesting enough, the guitar sound is made through the pitch and vibration of the strings to the body of the guitar, which serves to transfer the vibration of the bridge at the base of the guitar into the vibration of the air around it. The air inside the body is essential, especially for the lower range on the instrument. The significant effect on the Gibson guitar sound is the type of wood used to make the guitar body. This portion of the supply chain is vital today as centuries ago, because there are many different types of wood used to make the body of a Gibson guitar. A few types would include rosewood, maplewood, and walnut wood. Gibson's Les Paul Jr. stated, "A wood that's often chosen for single-cut guitars, i.e. guitars that are constructed out of a single slab of wood, mahogany is neutral and powerful. Many mahogany guitars have a maple top, which truly brings out the best tonal characteristics of both woods." The Gibson guitar supply chain is as innovative and diverse as the guitar itself. To prove this, I have supplied the SWOT analysis. The strength of the Gibson guitar comes from the heritage and namesake, Orville Gibson, salesman and clerk when he bought a small workshop in Kalamazoo, Michigan, in the 1880s to begin building mandolins. His guitars were influential as well, and his guitar patterns are still recognizable in modern guitars today. Thus, Gibson soon earned a reputation as a maker of high-quality, custom-stringed instruments. From its inception, the company focused on innovation and the production of high-quality instruments. Gibson's goals and Gibson guitar became known for over the next half a century as a high-quality producer. In 1948, Ted McCartney joined Gibson and served as company president from 1950 to 1966. During his tenure, company sales grew from less than $1 $1 million a year to $15 million a year. Its workforce grew from 150 employees to 1,200 employees, and its profits multiplied 15 times. McCartney also led the purchase rival Epiphone in 1957, giving Gibson greater control of the market. Although Gibson had missed the chance to take the pioneering role in electric guitars, McCartney made sure they did not lag in the subsequent improvements to the design. The Les Paul model debuted in 1952, rebounding for the near miss of the extraordinary instrument. The weakness crept into several aspects of the supply chain. The mismanagement over several changes in leadership roles. The Gibson Company spiraled as many administrators tried to dismiss the base of the Gibson guitar, consistently losing sight of the guitar and merging with foreign companies such as ECL, an Ecuadorian brewery. Gibson guitar continuously suffered under new management regimen. Although a few new guitars were introduced in the 1970s, they were not successful. The company managed to barely maintain sales through most of the 70s, but the long-term effects of absentee corporate management could be seen when sales steadily declined right into the 80s. Although the guitar market in general suffered during the 80s, Gibson exacerbated the problem by allowing its quality to slip by abandoning their popular guitar models in favor of poorly conceived new models. Gibson's bad times continued through the mid-80s. In 1984, the company closed its Kalamazoo factory. Several new models were introduced and met with such a terrible response that they were discontinued almost immediately. Several cuts in staff were made, and the financially crippled Gibson closed all of its divisions except one line of guitars. These changes still did not revive or relive all Gibson's losses. At last, enthusiastic new owners took over in 1986. Henry Jerswick and Derry Merriman were both bought the company for $5 million, and the doors of opportunity swung open. Restructuring began immediately, starting with the dismissal of all the company's top management. Then they started a series of acquisitions, including the purchase of Steinberger, a manufacturer of high-tech electronic guitars, in 1987. When the company bought the Flarion Mandolin Company in 1987, Jerswick used the newly acquired factory in Bozeman, Montana, to establish a flat-top acoustic division, which once again won acclaim for its high-quality instruments. Reissues of classic guitar models played an important role in refreshing the company's reputation. The popularity of these reissues encouraged Gibson to offer an exclusive commemorative line of guitars for its 100th anniversary in 1994. A White House salute to Gibson hosted by President Bill Clinton and First Lady Hillary Rodham Clinton, which celebrated the Gibson guitar's success. With sustainability, the promise of threats lingered. Parts of creating an instrument worthy of producing an exquisite tone in the type of wood used. Although the number of trees cut down to build instruments is proportionately low compared with other industries such as construction, they have over time left a significant dent. The looming legal challenges had a negative impact on market perception. Although the case never went to trial, the fine was detrimental to Gibson's revival effort. The raids at 2 Nashville facilities and one in Memphis where agents seized wood shipments, they were enforcing that Lacey Law Act, a century-old endangered species law that was amended in 2008 to include plants as well as animals.
Last week, federal marshals raided the Gibson Guitar Corporation in Tennessee, and not for the first time. The government appears to be preparing to charge the famous builder of instruments with trafficking in illegally obtained wood. Craig Havikhurst of member station WPLN reports on this rare collision of music and environmental regulation.
Then in 2018, Gibson Brands Inc. filed for bankruptcy, restructuring its finances once again. Although the Bozeman Gibson acoustic factory was unaffected by the bankruptcy, the Gibson company continued to struggle with debt for several years. After attempting the diversity of the business through the acquisition of several consumer electronic companies, Gibson had sold off a handful of these ancillary assets for roughly $40 million. as well as secured $135 million in investments to maintain operations and to help pay its debts. It is my recommendation to reduce this debt further for fast cash for each ancillary line. To get back to the basics, the competition is intense, and Gibson needs to focus on the golden ticket of the Gibson guitar. Current CEO and majority shareholder James J.C. Curley is heading in the right direction, making substantial strides through an operational restructuring, selling off non-core brands, increased earnings, and reduced working capital demands. The decision to refocus on the core business, musical instruments, combined with significant support from their noteholders, will assure the company's long-term stability and financial health. In truth, building and sustaining a world-class company is never easy, especially in this era of disruption. Even industry leaders can run into deadly turbulence. They fail to keep pace with technological change. They misread trends and changing tastes. Executives make bad decisions. They abandon their roots when that, in fact, is their main asset. My suggestion to Gibson guitar longevity: follow the sustainable supply chain's basic steps. Protect against reputational damage. Reducing environmental impact and costs. Improving continuity of the supply. Innovating products and services. And creating partnerships or global industry standards. In summary, the guitar industry serves as an excellent example of an industry beginning to come to terms with its inefficiencies. On the one hand, we have the conscious decision to manage a resource more carefully and responsibly, and on the other to use what new technologies have developed, and introducing and innovating new and creative manufacturing techniques. Centuries have passed since the guitar was invented. Since then, the guitar has a great innovative instrument. It serves as a heart and song or sound, all the way from jazz through the heavy metal, punk rock, and everywhere in between. The guitar has been perhaps the most significant factor in modern music. Guitars are very different instruments than they once were. They have had many changes in shape, sound, style, and how they are made. From the US to Europe and to the rest of the world, the general idea is the evolution of the Gibson guitar itself. It is multifaceted by generations, genres, and gender. The Gibson guitar is the instrument of choice. Thank you for watching my presentation on Gibson